Mafians and Mafianas, 𝆥𝆤𝆆𝓄𝃠𝃗𝓃𝑝𝑒𝑟. Yo, you see this guy right here? You know who he is, right? We're gonna break him down and talk about it. Let's dance. Yeah, so you see this guy right here, you should be very familiar with him. His name is Emperor Haile Selassie or Haile Selassie the First of Ethiopia. You'll be familiar with him if you're a regular visitor of the Rastafarian community. A lot of the Rastafarians, they give high acknowledgement, high praises to Haile Selassie the First, linking him back to the Solomonic dynasty through Makeda, Queen of Sheba, who the Quran calls Bilqis, yeah? So Haile Selassie is supposed to be a descendant of King Solomon through his son Menelik I, and later on through the hero in a more recent Ethiopian history, Menelik II. So Haile Selassie I is supposed to be connected through connected to the house of David, the Lion of Judah, via his ancestry, which connects him to the lineage of the legendary King Solomon, okay? But what if there was more to it than that? Because you know how they erased our history. What if his other name was Victor Emmanuel, and he was also the king of Italy, yeah? Because the king of Italy was also the king of Ethiopia. And there ain't never been no Mzungu, no Tamahu that has ever ruled Ethiopia. Ethiopia is very proud of its record of never being conquered in the colonial era by any European powers or even any Semitic Arab powers. They're very proud of that. So we know for a fact that there's never been a Mzungu or Tamahu ruler of Ethiopia, okay? But the king of Italy, who is also the Emperor of Ethiopia, apparently was called Victor Emmanuel III. And remember, the title King of Italy ran concurrent with Emperor of Rome. They started using the title King of Italy once the Roman Empire, the Western Roman Empire, had fallen. They started going by the title King of Italy, okay? The King of Italy was basically the Emperor of Rome, the ruler of the Romans, okay? Now, in the Age of Revolution, which is 1765 to 1848, we know they had a genealogical reset. It wasn't just a historic reset with a mud flood and advanced technology. It was also a genealogical reset, as we said a couple days earlier. They removed the original ruling families from all around the world. Whether it was Europe, whether it was North America, South America, Asia, China, Oceania, Hawaii, they went and they removed the original menellated, organic, carbonated, 9-ether nobility and royalty from the earth during this period of 1765 to 1848, which is kind of like the Industrial Revolution age. It wasn't no revolution, it was a takedown, it was a great reset, okay? So if you look into the records, yeah, when you look at Africa today, the Christians in Africa today, they're strangers. A lot of them, they don't even know it. Those were the slaves of Ottomans, yeah, Turks. Those were the slaves of Ottomans and the slaves of Berbers, who were being called barbarians or Tartarians. Those were the slaves of Tartarians. They were fighting against the truth, and they ended up being slaves. They're all over Africa now. Even the Ethiopian, the Coptic Church and the Orthodox Ethiopian Orthodox Church, all of that stuff there, those were the slaves of the Arab invasion. When we're talking about the 749 AD with the Saudi Arabians or Saudis or Arabians having their Islamic conquest and running into North Africa, okay, which created a lot of slaves. They put us in slavery down the east coast Africa, Zanzibar. So a lot of Christians in today's Africa are from that time. You understand? Those are the strangers that was the slaves of Ottomans and Muslims and stuff, okay? Turks, Seljuks, and Tartarians or Berbers, okay? Also, there's documented evidence that says when Emperor Vespasian sacked Jerusalem, a lot of these so-called Jews, or what we're going to call Israelites, fled into Africa. They fled from Jerusalem and fled into Africa when Vespasian destroyed Jerusalem, okay? The same happened when the Romans destroyed the kingdom of Judea. The kingdom of Judea was destroyed, it was wasted. It was wasted by the Romans. So a lot of them Israelites, them Hebrew Israelites, fled into deeper interior Africa, okay? And there's another thing as well. In this time, 1765 to 1848, a lot of the black Jews, the Israelites, were exiled to Africa. A lot of the black nobility and kings were forced to abdicate. They were forced to abdicate their thrones, and they were sent to the colonies in Africa. The same thing happened in America. A lot of these indigenous Americans, yeah, the leaders and the powerful ones, they were put in slavery and sent to Africa. So this story that they're giving you about all of us come from Africa on these great big transatlantic slave ships, they've never found these ships. So you know something's wrong with the story. We're not saying that there was no African slavery, because there was, and I tie to Africa too. And I want to make it clear, yeah, that I'm not denying the African slave trade. I'm just saying the narrative we was given in our textbooks by these pale faces is absolutely trash, yeah? It's about 1% true, okay? But I'm not gonna go into that. I'm gonna keep on point anyway, yeah? So Judea was wasted by the Romans, the Persians, the Saracens, and the Christians, yeah? Jews were expelled. When I say Jews, remember I'm saying Israelites, yeah? So we're not dealing with no hate, we're not dealing with no targeting of people, we're just giving you documented facts that's documented as historical facts. So the black Israelites, the Jays, they were exiled from Italy in 1743, from Spain in 1462, from the Low Countries, the south of Europe, yeah, in 1350, from France in 1403, and from England in 1231 and 1433. This precipitated the scramble for Africa. They started getting rid of us all over the world, like taking us out of America and taking us out of England and taking us out of Ireland and taking us out of Germany with the 30 Years' War, 1618 to 1648. And when they do it, they come with a cover story. So the cover story for Germany, the 30 Years' War, is the Catholic Reformation with Martin Luther in that. It's got nothing to do, Martin Luther's just a cover story. And they do the same with Saint Maurice. Anytime they talk about black people in Europe, in medieval Europe, there's loads more saints other than Saint Maurice. Some of them are even named. I've named a few in here in Treasures in the Sun, yeah? But every time they see one, it must be Saint Maurice. It's being used, the whole narrative is false. You understand what I'm saying? Now I want to say this. You see the emperors of Rome in the Middle Ages, like we've shown you through our work, shown you through our books, and shown you through our bills, yeah? They wore certain vestiges of office, yeah? So the Holy Roman Emperor, like I said, the Emperor of the Romans, yeah? There's certain regalia that they wear. They're decorated with certain vestments. There's certain clothes that the Holy Roman Emperor wore. So the regalia I'm referring to is a certain crowns, yeah, the certain holy relics, robes, royal robes, and several other objects, yeah, that are connected to ceremony, yeah. So when you look at this picture of Emperor Haile Selassie, or what's his real name, Victor Emmanuel III, when you look at a picture of him here, you see them royal robes that he's wearing, and the crown that he's wearing, and the royal vestiges and stuff that he has on, yeah. These are what the Roman emperors in the Middle Ages was wearing. It's the same robes. Remember, these Mzungu Kingship doesn't come from them. They never had no kings or queens. Kings and queens comes from us. We are the royalty of the whole entire planet Earth. So when you see this Haile Selassie and they're telling you that the king of Italy is also the emperor of Rome, and they're showing you this Mzungu geezer, you know, okay, there's something wrong here. This is how they took over the world, guys. And this precipitated the scramble for Africa, where Europe went and carved up Africa after they had already exiled all of the black Israelites to Africa, to places like Ghana, and in the height of Mali Empire, Songhai Empire, Morocco Empire. This is the truth, guys. Y'all need to stop listening to these charlatans. Peace, Mafia for life.
Not because your skin is black, most of you are counterfeit. Dragon Slayer timeless, you niggas is out of date. Paperweight, let me demonstrate, I do not hesitate. Extraterrestrial UFO flow levitate. Bullying beats while you struggle to keep up. Eyes in the back of my head, you cannot sneak up. All access got that skeleton key cut. I'm from the old school, so you could still get beat up. Army of ruffians is nothing for us. Them ragtag riff-raffs, they ain't fucking with us. Them niggas Facebook thugs, Snapchat gang.